Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Ripple employee Matt Hamilton is fighting the myth that XRP is a centralized banker coin. And that argument, it's just amazing to me that that thing is still bandied about by some in 2021. It's verifiably not true. And you look at a headline like this even. Like, even if you don't know that much, you might maybe just start to get a little bit curious when you see a headline like this. 211 million XRP tokens shifted by top crypto exchanges. Bybit moves half of it. And so you might wonder, like, how is this XRP centralized banker coin, why is it getting shifted around by all of these cryptocurrency exchanges which are not banks? Why is it that XRP, for the better part of a decade, has always been within the top 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap? Why is it widely accepted, outside of the Bitcoin maxi community, why is it widely accepted by crypto enthusiasts? Maybe get a little bit more curious instead of being ideologically driven. That would be a good starting point, but that's not the case. That's not how we see Bitcoin maxi trolls behavior. So I'm going to run through this piece from Crypto Slate. But before I go any further, I do want to be clear that I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos as a very fun hobby about Ripple and XRP and Bitcoin maxi troll sometimes. But that's all that's going on here, damn it. And so the piece begins as follows. Director of Developer Relations at Ripple, Matt Hamilton, set the record straight on XRP and the XRP ledger. And by the way, I would like to mention too, this guy here, he is one of the individuals that in my very early days helped me to learn a ton about Ripple and XRP. So he is a Ripple employee, but that's only since I believe February of this year. Before that, he was just a member of the XRP community. He's been around since longer than me. I don't know if it was 2016 or early 2017. It was somewhere around there. But I joined in late 2017, and I was just like a sponge soaking up as much information as possible. And he is one of the guys back before he worked at Ripple. He's just a member of the community that I just learned a ton from. Like, I'd even ask him questions from time to time, and he was always polite and responded, and it was just really helpful to me. It helped me to wrap my head around all this stuff. And he still is. He's just an absolute wealth of knowledge from a fundamental perspective in terms of how XRP is being positioned for various use cases, but also the tech side. He's got an incredible handle on that. He's got a background in that type of stuff. So anyway, moving forward though, before the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, the narrative surrounding XRP centered around it not being a real cryptocurrency. This is due to several characteristics. Chief among them were criticisms over the network's closed centralized nodes. This resulted in persistent hostility between XRP holders and the rest of the crypto community. Fast forward to now, and while the SEC lawsuit continues to dominate the conversation, the above still lurks in the back of people's minds. But is there any truth to the matter? Can XRP transactions be restricted? Well, in an interview with the Crypto Jeb YouTube channel, Hamilton gives his account of the significant talking points to dispel Ripple myths. Hamilton said the terms centralization and decentralization mean different things to different people. This is why the community cannot agree on XRP's status as a centralized or decentralized network. Now, that's most certainly true, and I run into this all the time. And one of the arguments that I get, which I think is kind of silly, but it does go back to what was just stated here, people have different definitions of centralization. It's this idea that Ripple holds a ton of XRP, therefore centralized. And I sit there looking at that, I'm like, your definition's way off, man. Like, I don't like the definition. And so sometimes you like talk past each other when you're using the same word, but it means different things to each of you, and that happens a ton. And so for me, looking at XRP, the Ripple not having any special permissions over the XRP ledger, that's a key factor. Having a certain quantity of XRP does not give you special permissions, period. So to me, that's not centralization, that's concentration of a ton of XRP. But concentration of XRP by an account holder is different than centralization, because again, there are no special permissions, and I think that we should differentiate between those two things. Now, for a proof of stake network, I understand that having a certain quantity actually can mean centralization, but for a cryptocurrency like XRP that it has just a different way of reaching consensus in terms of sequencing of orders, that's simply just not the case. So anyway, the piece continues. But for him, decentralized means the ability for anyone to use the network without restriction. So, for example, Hamilton said, no party could stop XRP users from transacting on the network if they wish. And here's a quote. The key criteria, one, is you don't want somebody to block you or censor you or restrict you from using the network, right? I want to be able to make a payment without, regardless. In that regard, the XRP ledger is decentralized, end quote. And he added that no one can seize XRP tokens and transactions cannot be censored, which, in his mind, is a crucial measure of decentralization. And that's also why you're not going to see central banks. I know some of you in the XRP community wish this would be the case. I wish it would be too, but it's not going to happen. But this is why central banks are not going to issue a central bank digital currency on the XRP ledger. Despite it being technologically impressive, they're going to want a private ledger. And Ripple knows this too. That's why they actually created a template for central banks. But central banks are going to want to be able to roll back transactions if something goes horribly wrong. And they're going to want to be able to inflate the hell out of their currency because, governments, it's just money printer go burr, that whole thing. Yeah, that's a thing. So there are certain things that you're going to want to be able to do, and they're going to want to have special permissions, and they're never going to rely on their monetary sovereignty on a decentralized network. It's just never going to happen, because even if you have a very high level of certainty, like well over 99% that it's going to be fine and it would work, that's not high enough. They want to know for sure they're 100% in control. So anyway, then this continues here. Another bone of contention relates to the centralization of nodes on the XRP ledger. A node connects to the network to validate and relay transactions while also retaining a copy of the ledger. Full nodes ensure a particular set of rules are being followed. The danger here relates to a dominant entity with majority node control manipulating the network. The XRP ledger currently has 156 validator nodes, of which 19 are identifiable as Ripple nodes, meaning Ripple controls 12% of the nodes. And Hamilton confirms this by saying Ripple nodes make up only a small percentage of the network. What's more, he adds that 80% consensus is needed to validate transactions. Therefore, Ripple cannot manipulate the network. And here's a quote. The network itself is decentralized. Ripple only controls a few percent of the nodes on the network, and the consensus algorithm means you need 80% consensus on the transactions. So there's no unilateral party that controls it. And so to round off the debate, Hamilton said, although Ripple does hold most of the XRP as a trust-based consensus algorithm instead of a proof-of-stake model, the amount of XRP held has no bearing on the amount of control exerted. Exactly, which is what I brought up. And so that's why I think it's such a bogus argument when Bitcoin maxis say XRP centralized because an entity holds a specific quantity. Well, would they say that if there was half of the Bitcoin supply was held by one entity? Because you don't, you can exert pressure in markets, but you have no special powers over the decentralized nature of the Bitcoin blockchain, no matter how much you hold. And so we're talking about two different things there. And it's so even though we could agree on those concepts, the second I call it decentralized, they're going to say, no, it's centralized. Even if we agree on the facts and the matters, they refuse to apply the word to it that I would. I apply decentralized, they apply centralized, even if we agree on the facts at hand. And so it's just you're talking past each other at that point. But I encounter that all the time. And then there was this, I want to be brief with this, but it's interesting, from CoinDesk. Paraguay University to accept Bitcoin, Ether, XRP in August. Well, how about that? Paraguay's Universidad Americana will begin accepting cryptocurrencies as payment. Starting in August, General Director Camilo Jimenez Aguero told CoinDesk, and I'm sure I butchered that, but hey, I'm giving it the old college try here. See what I did there? Anyway, Universidad Americana has 17,000 students, 60% of whom study virtually. It plans to accept Bitcoin, Dash, and XRP as form of payment. Now, according to Jimenez Aguero, the university's crypto wallet is ready to receive payments, but won't activate the wallet until the fall term begins, when it plans to include a payment button on its website. And so, unlike many businesses that say they will accept crypto, the university will not immediately convert its crypto into fiat. Rather, it will decide after receiving the payments, the director said. And so it is cool to see this stuff. And it, as time passes, as the years and decades roll on, you will increasingly see this. But When are you going to see big spikes up? Well, it'll happen in geographic regions around the world, I believe, where there's friction, where there's problems. Like if you have runaway inflation for a fiat currency and you need something else that's more stable, because I know crypto's volatile now, but it won't always be. Once there's a sufficient quantity of money, it's going to take a whole lot more to get that to move, and the frenzy around crypto will die down in the coming decades and won't be nearly as exciting to invest in it. That's okay. It's just a maturation of the asset class. Right now, it's really exciting, and I think we all agree on that. But right now, you're not really solving a problem. If you made me buy stuff with crypto, I'd be irritated because you're adding friction to my life when my credit cards and my United States dollars work just fine. I use my credit card, I pay it off every month, I don't carry a balance, and life is good. It's fine. Why do I want to use crypto? Like, I personally don't. But in areas of the world where there are problems, and using a fiat currency is an issue, using a global decentralized cryptocurrency could actually take hold. That is a real thing that can happen. And so to just see it here, where there's maybe not a bunch of strife, but it's a payment option. Some people will adopt first. If you look at a technology bell curve, there's only going to be the early adopters, and then there's the laggards. But there's people, even if they're doing it for the novelty of it, there are people that want to utilize XRP to pay for stuff now. It is happening, and I think that's awesome. We should all be able to do whatever we want here. So to me, this is just forward progress. But I'll go ahead and wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.